After all, I am a doctor. I have to talk about medicine, isn't it? Green medicine. Two things we are celebrating today. Yoga and music. It is International Yoga Day. It is also World Music Day.
Multi-talented doctor. She's a gynaecologist and obstetrician specialist in infertility, test tube baby treatment, and laparoscopic keyhole surgery. She's a motivational and inspirational speaker with deep roots into social service. And to surprise to many, she is also a renowned singer too. She is crowned Gahalakshmi Mrs. India 2022, Mrs. Channar India 2022 and Mrs. India Kalinga Sundari 2022. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Sandeep sir to welcome and present this token of gratitude from our side to Dr. Puja Dewan. Welcome ma'am. Welcome sir. Let's maintain the silence, everyone. Now we have Dr. Puja Dewan, a renowned gynecologist. Let's put your hands together for Dr. Dewan.
Hello friends. Thank you so much, Dr. Marwah Studios, and the International Chamber of Media and Entertainment Industry. It's a pleasure to be in the August gathering with His Excellency and other doctors. Green medicine. After all, I am a doctor. I have to talk about medicine, isn't it? Green medicine. Two things we are celebrating today. Yoga and music. It is International Yoga Day. It is also World Music Day. Complementary alternative medicine means we are practicing allopathy. I am a laparoscopic surgeon and an IVF specialist. But any other science which has healing therapy is called as complementary alternative medicine. I am deeply into music. I am a professional singer. I am a Sangeet Visharak, and I combine music with medicine to practice music therapy. So music on one hand and yoga on the other hand. I wouldn't say I teach yoga, but yes, I practice power yoga. So when I look at these two, yoga and music together, we talk of healing powers. But do you know something? Yoga is not about competition. Yoga, despite being a component of physical exercise, asanas, yogasanas, is not a part of any sports. Do you know why? Because essentially yoga is supposed to be a balance. A balance between our physical, mental, spiritual and philosophical self. If there is supposed to be a balance, then there is supposed to be no competition. When we talk of sports, we talk of competition. So, if I practice yoga and if I have a good teacher, my guru will tell me, do as much as your body listens to. Stretch as much as you can. Don't overstretch. So, at best, I am achieving what my body is complying with. And at best, I am competing with my own self, but not with others. That balance is the uniqueness of yoga. We all acknowledge the fact that we are into the 8th year. We are talking about yoga for humanity. We know that the Secretary General of the United Nations has said that the impact that yoga has left at the times of relief from social isolation and stress management is commendable in COVID-19. But do you also know that UNESCO has put it in a cultural heritage label? Do you also know that yoga means to unite? Of course, it stems out of a Sanskrit word, and it is uniting. It is uniting mind, body, and man with nature. So when we look at yoga, is it a religion? No. Is it a faith? No. But it talks about the cosmic being. It does stem out from the Vedic times with some of its relationship with Hinduism, but it's not a religion. So it is universal. We want to achieve certain records, and we did, incidentally. The very first Yoga Day on 21st June that we celebrated, we set 2 Guinness records. 15 people short of 40,000 were the number of people who gathered at a spot in India to practice yoga at the same time. And also, it had the maximum number of international participants. That's the power of yoga. To put it in a very modern way, which is the modern yoga capital of India? Rishikesh. And what do we remember when we talk about Rishikesh? We remember Patanjali. We remember the brand. We remember the CEO, Balakrishna. We remember Baba Ramdev. But we also need to remember Maharshi Patanjali. But did it begin with Maharshi Patanjali? They say that there is a river called Saraswati, which is part of Prayag, and it doesn't exist, and it's somewhere inside the earth. So there is an Indus Saraswati civilization, maybe even before the Indus Harappan civilization. That's where they say yoga came from. Then we talk about Veds. We have the mention in Rig Veda. Then we talk about yogis. Who is the first yogi? Adi Yogi. We have been enjoying Sadhguru's Shiva meditation and the Adi Yogi, Tandem Nitya and all the things. But Adi Yogi is Shiva. He is the first yogi. So if it is something like 15,000 years back, when we do pranayama, we close one nostril, we breathe through one, then we exhale through the other. It is in modern words. When I became an ENT, ear, nose, throat student in final year, I was told about the nasal cycle. At one point in time, only one of the nostrils takes in air, the other doesn't. But who is the first propagant of this pranayama? As per the document in literature, it's Adi Yogi, Shiva. Then we came to Upanishads. And then came Maharshi Patanjali. So what was his contribution? He brought in postures. He brought in a systematized system. But beyond that, we have the modern yoga father. That is Krishnamacharya. And he is the one who brought in the yogasanas. He had 3 principal disciples who brought in Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Tantra Yoga. Now let's put it simply. The modern yoga is essentially Hatha Yoga. Whenever I used to practice, I used to wonder, I'm doing so much of power yoga. All the time I'm putting pressure on my hands. It must be something to do with my hands. Heart. I studied Sanskrit, so I extrapolated it. But then later I realized, Hat, stubbornness, perseverance, persuasion, effort. But am I being stubborn with somebody? I'm being persuasive and stubborn to achieve the best potential out of my own body. And that is Hatha Yoga. Whether it is BKS Iyengar or whether it is other proponents, all of them essentially started with the asanas, the yoga asanas which came from Hatha Yoga. And finally, we took all this and we exported it to Hollywood. Hatha Yoga became the main aspect which went to Hollywood. But the last one, which got fame as well as got defamed, was the Bikram Yoga. Do you know what they do in Bikram Yoga? I'm an AC, and when I do yoga, I want AC, I want cool this thing, I don't want to perspire. But this gentleman, this guru said, 40 degrees of humidity. Can you imagine? And 40 degrees of temperature. I will create in my studio. And that's when you do yoga. And that's when you perspire. And that's when you achieve your greatest potential. As a doctor, there is a lot of postural issues we see. We don't sit properly. Maybe when I'm saying so, some of you should sit a little more better, isn't it? But yes, when the Western world acknowledges us, we feel very happy. Why? Because we seldom do evidence-based medicine. But yes, the American College of Orthopedic Surgeons have acknowledged that in case there is chronic, long-standing, lower backache, the first line of therapy and modality is supposed to be yoga, and particularly the cat pose. When I talk about asanas, there is a king of asanas and there is a queen of asanas. Today we are going to have a yoga competition. Mind you, it's not a competition between all of you, it's within you. But when we do these asanas, somebody might demonstrate the king of asana, which is Shirshasana. You stand upside down on your head. Somebody may demonstrate the queen of asana, that is Sarvangasana, where you are on a shoulder stand. So headstand and shoulder stand. Dr. B.K.S. Iyengar's wife, Dr. Geeta Iyengar said, it is unforgivable and unpardonable if a person who's practicing yoga does not practice Sarvang and Shirshasana. And most of the time, we believe if I stand upside down, something will happen to my spine, I will get a fracture in my head, and maybe I should just avoid this, but then that's the way to go about it. So in totality, I feel, I just became Mrs. India 2022. When I was assessed in that competition, I was made to do drills which exhibited my stamina. There was a yoga session, there was a jumping jack session, there was a running session and stuff like that. And finally I realized that yoga, as reiterated, is about stamina. It is about flexibility. It's about posture. It is about equilibrium. Some people have ringing sensation in their ears, and there is a tree pose which you stand. It's about equilibrium. It is about relieving pains. It is about de-stressing and meditation. Whether it's the breathing form that we know about, Kapalbhati or Pranayama, we know the benefits. But even in pregnancy, as a gynecologist, I have made videos about the relevance of yoga in pregnancy. When we talk about the fancy antenatal classes, and then we have the American and Canadian terms of Lamatse, right? Everybody is ready to shell out money to do those exercises for 6 months. But if you tell them, this is my video, these are the 4 asanas, Trikonasana, cat pose, blah blah blah, they will not shell out even a rupee. हमें आता है योग तो हम सब करते हैं. But the amount of flexibility that you get in your pelvic muscles boosts and creates space for a normal vaginal delivery. When we talk about yoga, we also talk about meditation and de-stress. Whether it is in the pregnancy phase or in the post-pregnancy phase, when we talk about postnatal blues. What is postnatal blues? It's a depression. It's a low feeling that we get. Then the question arises, when should I practice yoga? Morning, evening, night? Well, they say right in the morning at the time of dawn is the best time where yoga is enhanced through meditation. And late evening is the time when after the whole day's work, you are stretching out your muscles and relaxing. And before sleep, there is also Nidra Yoga. Nidra means sleep. Nidra Yoga. It is a phase right there between sleep and awakening. So these are the 3 times you could actually be practicing this. Whenever we talk of yoga, we think it's about exercise, it's about meditation, relaxation and stress relief. But Swami Vivekananda brought in that form of Ashtanga Yoga, where he said, yoga is only about meditation and not about exercise. It's being one with the being above. So as I end my talk, and as I share various aspects of what I have felt during this journey, I strongly believe yoga and music are for both and all. I wish you all a wonderful day ahead. Pull up your socks. Try it out today. Those who are in competition will be competing. Those who aren't, try it out in your seat itself. Thank you so much. Bye.